Hi, everyone. Welcome to Fear Assembly. I'll be your host, Cole Harper, and joining us today is Ricky666, as well as Chuck the Movie Guy and Jordan the Grey Witch. So we're going to cover a bunch of topics today, including Roger Eggers' Werewolf, which is coming soon, and the trailer just dropped last week, as well as a number of other topics. So, Jordan, let's start with you, because I know you're our insider on everything folklore. So now that you've seen the trailer, what are your thoughts on Werewolf? Are you more excited, or is it kind of what you expected? What are your
I
thoughts?
mean, I think Chuck knows, like, I actually met Chuck at a screener for Nosferatu, so he knows that I'm a huge fan of Robert Eggers in general. I will watch anything that man makes. I have been so excited for a Werewolf. It's been my most anticipated since I found out he was
Hmm.
making it back in 2024, early 2025 when they announced it. It's been my number one since then, so I'm so excited. I trust him implicitly to make this movie spectacular. I love all of his other work. So this is like, I mean, I've actually been watching some other werewolf movies this week to kind of like prepare. Like when that one came out, I was rewatching. I hadn't seen Dog Soldiers, so I watched that one, which was good because I really kind of want to see an Eggers version. I'd love to see an anthropomorphic werewolf. Like I don't want to see like a wolf running around like the Twilight wolves. I
Hmm.
want to see like a big gnarly anthropomorphic werewolf, and I think most people agree with that. And we really haven't seen a good werewolf character in a long time. It's hard, it's a really hard genre to
30
do
fucking
well, and
years,
I think
yeah.
Eggers might do it.
All right, Chuck,
I don't
how
know.
about you?
I
I
don't
quite
think
like.
they're Go ahead,
Sorry,
Ricky. Go.
sorry. You said about 30 years. I'm a big fan of the werewolf from Harry Potter.
Hmm.
I think that's a pretty good one.
I like that. No, that's a good one. I don't know if it's traditional horror, but that's why maybe it didn't come to head, but it's
Sure.
a sick werewolf for sure.
It scared my kids, I'll tell you
Yeah.
that. But all right.
I like the underworld werewolves too.
Hmm. The lichens, yeah.
I like the hybrid, I think the best. I think that was the coolest design, but yeah, they were pretty cool. It's hard to say, a lot of the older werewolf movies, like especially back from the 70s and 80s, that's all the practical effects that we love. You guys know I love practical effects. But seeing now, like what with the technology we have now, to see a werewolf movie now, especially like with Eggers at the helm, I feel like we're gonna see some really good monster work here. I really hope so. I think so.
I mean, the
Yeah.
whole entire movie's practical. And he lives and dies by practical effects. I mean, I read this featurette that he did, and then I watched Straw Hat Goofy's podcast that he did. He had Robert Eggers on. Everything they did, they built from the ground up. Every set was built from the ground up. Every building, every location. The way I and you can say it's a bold statement if you want to say it's a bold statement. I don't think there's a finer horror director in horror now than Robert Eggers. Like he is not studio controlled. It's all his own creativity, his vision. There's no chance in the world that Werewolf's a bad movie. Like I
Well, I
would be,
think.
I would be shocked. I think it's like pushing way more modern masterpiece than bad movie. Now,
Hmm.
whether Eggers is your flavor is a whole different story because
Mm.
he's not everybody's flavor. I know people that don't like The Witch and don't like the Lighthouse, and because it's weird, and he uses that like monochromatic black and white type kind of way that he shoots. I love it. I think it's brilliant.
Hmm.
Yeah, there. I can't wait to sink my teeth into Werewolf.
Yeah, I
All
think
right.
because he isn't kind of controlled by a studio, I think that's the big giveaway that studios and studio interference isn't that good for horror, right? Because
Right.
for me, if I'm thinking about making a horror movie, I don't want to be tied down by anything. I want my imagination to go absolutely mental. And when you're kind of being held back by studios, it kind of puts a limit on that. But look, man, I think that everything that Eggers touches is gold.
I agree.
There's certain things about certain movies that I weren't in love with, but like as a whole, I think
Hmm.
he's fantastic. And you can't look at that trailer and not be excited for it, man. Like I did a reaction to it the other day, and I said in that reaction that we haven't. American Werewolf in London kind of ruined werewolf movies for me because nothing has ever lived up to that.
Hmm.
And kind of werewolves in general just seem a bit silly to me. And I want to get past that.
Hmm.
And I feel like if any movie's going to do that, it's going to be this movie. It looks sick, man.
All right. And do you feel like this is going to be similar to like Batman Begins in terms of like getting into the how this came to be and kind of opening up a bigger story that maybe becomes a franchise? Or do you think this is going to be a standalone, film that's going to just get
Standalone.
right
It'll
into
never.
it?
Eggers
I
and franchise don't
Yeah,
go in the same
standalone.
sentence.
Right.
Yeah, that's
was
it.
about to say, I hope not.
Yeah, I don't think he's interested in cash grabs or anything, but from everything that I've seen on that podcast and the interviews that I watched with him, it so I guess in 1300 England,
Mhm.
wolves were like almost like extinct, and like it goes all the way back into that folklore and the story of like the endangered nature of like wolves and the folklore that surrounds them. Like it's historically accurate from, I guess, everything that he put in. Like that dude, that's one thing about him. He doesn't go approach movies with like a minimum of concern.
Mhm.
Like I like I love The Lighthouse. Um, with all my heart, I love The Lighthouse. And like the more I watch it, the better that it gets. But like the more you watch that movie, the more things that you catch and the more things that are like, that comes out of the story. But even if you watch like the cinematography and like the things in the background of his movies, even Nosferatu, like the first watch of Nosferatu and the sixth watch of Nosferatu are completely different films because there's so much living on the screen. And he uses like, I hate to compare him to Christopher Nolan because I don't think Christopher Nolan can tie Robert Eggers' shoes, but he films things to hold that whole frame, and it's shot in IMAX. It's for
Yes.
printed on film. Like he's using every frame, so there's so much that goes into it. Like it's not. He's not just making horror. Robert Eggers makes art.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. It's giving an artist the paintbrush instead of the studio
For
holding
sure.
their hand. And I feel like that happens more often than not as of recent. The studios want to stay on this. Oh no, we want to do it this way. We want to cut corners. We want to do this. And when you hand an artist an art brush, you're gonna get art. And I fully agree with Chuck. I think that Eggers is a true artist. I think that everything that he watches, everything that he makes is gold. I'll watch anything that he makes. And this is honestly my most anticipated movie of the year. I love all of his other work. The only complaint that I would have about Eggers, and this is a small complaint, and I think you guys are going to agree, and that's in The Northman, and I think that it was miscast. I think that the people that were in it specifically, when they have too much facial work, you can't be in a period piece with visible facial work. And that kind of took me out of The Northman. That was the only thing that I could really complain about. But other than that, like I truly trust him with all these folklore concepts. I mean, pretty much he kind of stays in his folklore lane as he should. That's his that's his sweet spot. And I think, not to say that he couldn't do other things, I'm sure that he could, but folklore he does, and he does it well.
I want him to go back a bit though. I want him to return more to darker storytelling like The Witch. And I think we're going to get that. And I think that a lot of people have kind of said that we want his films to be darker, and all of his films are serious. Like, don't get me wrong, but I want something that is going to make me scared, afraid to watch. Right. And you didn't really get that with Nosferatu because it's kind of more of a fantasy film for me. But if he can return to like The Witch, but go darker, I'm excited for that.
I mean, I know that you stay away from trailers and that you stay away from like doing any homework on the movies or anything, which I totally respect. But it comes to Eggers, I did all the homework that I could do. He's on record that this is the darkest thing that he's ever created.
Sick.
Yeah, so I think, and especially with that, and they're going to use the Middle English and take it back to like being historically accurate. Like, I don't even care I could care less if there's one subtitle in that movie. Like, I'll figure it out. Like, that's fine by me. But it says it's a testament to like Eggers too, because it's on record too. Northman is the most studio controlled movie that he did, with ideas and casting and everything like that. And then like after that, they're just like, here's Nosferatu, and now they just give him the keys. Like, here's $100 million, just go out in the woods. And they filmed it in Wales, and in the middle of where they shot it at, it was like, some days it was like 30 below, and they had Aaron Taylor Johnson, no shirt, no clothes, in the middle of the wet woods, like, is how most of that thing was shot. So like, I think like that pain and discomfort of filming is going to show too. I can't fucking wait, man. Let that dude make anything dark and folklore. Just give him all the money.
And that's coming out Christmas Day. Am I mistaken?
Yep.
Right? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be a big one for sure. So, Jordan, going back to one of your comments about the studios getting their paintbrush in the way, what would be an example that comes to your mind in terms of a horror film that just felt overproduced by the studio itself, where you're just like,
Well, I
man.
mean, I think take a look at any franchise now. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they just grab a hold of it and they're just gratuitous cash grabs. Like, they're just putting a number at the end of a successful horror movie.
Mhm.
Scream 7, Scream, you know what I mean? Like, and not to say I'm still going to watch all the Screams, but at the same time, seeing real art like what Eggers is making versus these giant cranked out studio cash grabs, these projects have soul. And while those movies might be fun to watch, they're fun to go in the theaters, you're still going to have a good time. I don't want to talk shit about those ones, but they're not an experience. And I feel like Eggers films are an experience. And I think that that's why a lot of people maybe don't get them. Maybe people that don't like film or don't appreciate film. If someone says to me, oh, I thought Nosferatu sucked, I don't trust their opinion on film because it's objectively a beautiful movie. Like, it's shot beautifully. You may not be into that subject matter, or maybe you like something better. But if someone says that any of his movies sucked, I just don't trust them because I'm like, oh, well, what do you like then? The Minions? Like, it's hard for me. Do you know what I mean? And that's a good example as well. The Minions, like, that's like a big studio cash grab nonsense to me. It's not something and to be fair, I don't watch those, but that's something that, like, these studios are just trying to make money instead of making art.
So there is something that I always kind of liken it to, and it's like with horror or just any type of film, really. There are people who like amusement parks, and there are people who like the Tate Modern. Do you know what I mean? So like, and we have that in film, like you were saying, like these, Saw 52 or Scream 100, whatever. They're like the theme park rides of horror for me, and they serve a purpose. I get why people like franchise movies. They're not for me. But like you said, objectively, Eggers makes good films.
I mean, you can say, hey, I didn't like that movie because it's not for me, but to question it or critique it from a filmmaking standpoint, listen, Eggers, the people that are making the only person that's making films like Robert Eggers is Christopher Nolan. Is the only person. And I'm not a Nolan guy. Like, I think Nolan's one of the most overhyped directors in Hollywood history. That's just my personal opinion. Prestige is his best movie, to me. But the dude can make a fucking movie. You know what I mean? Like, he's no joke. You know what I mean? Like, from a technical standpoint, like, that dude's a master at his craft of filmmaking. So you can't, like, and the same with Eggers, you can't critique it and say, oh, well, he didn't put his heart and soul into like knowing and understanding like what it takes to like make a film. Listen, sold. I didn't even, and the best thing about it is they showed no werewolf in the trailer, and they're not going to.
Right, exactly.
I was going to mention that. So I was going to say, I've been watching like a bunch of werewolf movies, like, kind of revisiting all the older ones, like building up to Werewolf coming out in December. And I will say that for the most part, I think most werewolf movies really kind of lean on the terror aspect of sort of the unseen. You don't see the werewolf until the very end, or you see little clips and things like that. And I'm not sure how Eggers is going to do his, whether he's going to come straight out the gate with here's the monster, or whether we're going to kind of rely on that tension and terror until we do see it. But I know for sure that we are absolutely going to get a gnarly transformation scene. There's no doubt in my mind that we aren't going to get a absolutely incredible transformation scene with Aaron Taylor Johnson in what he said, what the Welsh woods or wherever it was filmed. I think it's going to be incredible. And I've been looking forward to that. And I'm kind of studying the other werewolf movies to see like how they did it. See how A Company of Wolves, great practical effects. American Werewolf in London, the best werewolf movie there is, honestly, if we're being honest, right? And then there's other ones that kind of, here and there. And then when you do involve CGI and things like that, I think that can take you out sometimes, depending on the CGI, depending on how well it is. And, Ricky mentioned the Harry Potter werewolf, and however you feel about Harry Potter, that's a really cool looking werewolf. They did a really good job with that werewolf. So I want to see something that may be, practical with effects. We aren't sure what it's going to be, right? Like, we don't know if it's just a suit or what's going to happen, but I'm expecting to see the gnarliest werewolf that we have seen in recent years. Like, and my expectations are high, as they should be,
sure.
I think.
I do hope that they don't focus solely on the werewolves. So like one of the things I really loved about the trailer is I want them to focus on the terror of the people who was living in that time, who actually believed in this kind of shit, right? And I think that's the approach that he's probably
That's
going
what
to
they're
go
going
around.
to do. Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
100%.
But of course, I want to see some gnarly werewolf action.
That scene at the end of the
Legitness.
trailer with Aaron Taylor Johnson, I don't want to ruin it for you, Ricky. Do you care if I say it?
No. I
you
watched the
watched it?
trailer. Yeah.
His face shaking with that beard when that frothy white spit comes out of his mouth was all I needed to see. That and that real quick shot of his back cracking that was like far away, and then that white froth that comes out with his eye rolling back. Listen, that shit's going to be, he knows what's on the line. Like that, he brought his A game out. This shit's going to be amazing. That's all I want for Christmas. Like that's all I want to do is noon Christmas fucking werewolf. I heard they're going to do it like kind of like what the Odyssey's doing. There's not going to be they're so confident in it. There's not going to be like screenings and all that shit.
I don't think so either. I don't think we're going to get lucky enough for a screener for that. I was hoping, but I don't think so.
That's a word. That's the word on the street that I was told. Cause as soon as I seen it, I emailed and I was like, I'll trade you a pinky finger for anything werewolf. And they're like, yeah,
I emailed them too earlier in the year. I was like, hey, can I be on the first list for werewolf?
Yeah.
Is it available? Do you guys know? And she was like, we don't know. Like,
they were like, yeah, get in line on Christmas Day like everybody else. I was
Right.
like, all right, cool. I'm good with that. You know what I mean? I told my kids already, put werewolf tickets in my stocking. That's all I want for Christmas.
Yeah. I have a question for you. When you see these films for the first time, do you prefer to watch them at the cinema, or do you prefer to watch them on your own at home?
I almost don't even watch any screeners anymore, Ricky. I hate watching them at home. If they give me the format that I could watch it on my TV,
sure,
because I have surround sound and like a 75, you know what I mean? Like it's a little different experience.
Yeah.
But to the on the screen thing, I think it really like, I guess in the beginning when you're creating and everything, like it's awesome to get them and watch them and it helps with like content. But like, there's so many movies that I've seen that like I was like in the middle on that I've been seen in the theater and loved it way much more because you get so much more experience out of it. I don't know why they don't invent an app that you could get on the TV that's not a Roku to watch 4K screeners. I will never understand.
I guess my question I'm so distracted by my ADHD all the time that going to a cinema a lot of the time, especially with a bunch of people who are super excited about the film, really distracts me. So
okay, fair.
I think a lot of the time I prefer to watch it first on my own so I can really dial into it, and then I'll go and watch it at the cinema.
Fair.
But that's just me. I just thought
it depends on the movie too.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like Undertone, I'm glad I watched it at home because I would have hated it in the theater. I didn't even go see it in the theater because I wouldn't have liked it in the theater. It's not a theater movie.
No, I haven't rewatched it on a TV at all. Same with Skinamarink.
Skinamarink at home was the best.
Yeah.
I gotta watch that one. I haven't seen that one yet.
I love it so much.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, I know you do. That's why I love you, because you love Skinamarink and everybody fucking hates it. Listen, there's this movie. I'm going to put it on your radar real quick.
Yeah.
So I'm covering Fantasia this year for my third year, which I love. I'm a huge fan of Fantasia Film Festival. One, great people. Two, they get a banging list of shit that like I never heard of. Like they always got something that's like ends up being something special. And this year they happen to have a werewolf movie. And it's called When You Open the Door, and it says that it's like a werewolf movie that you have never seen. I couldn't find very much information about it, but I believe that it's a South Korean werewolf movie, which boy, does that tickle everything that I love about horror movies.
Oh yeah.
But it's about Miki, a 27-year-old working in an architectural firm, wakes up in her small apartment, pulled out of her sleepy memory. Her world is quiet and strange, but will soon be interrupted by a transformative experience spurred by a half-remembered wolf bite.
Oh, you know what? It's a female?
It's Japanese. The person, Ariko Kataguri, was the recipient of a Japan Horror Award for the best. Wait here. Even better. It's from the maker of Best Wishes to All. I'm all in.
Okay.
Wait,
Have
so
you
you're
seen
saying that
Best
the
Wishes to
werewolf
All?
in the movie is a woman?
It's a woman, yeah, I believe so. Yeah, I
Yes.
believe it's a woman. And if you haven't seen Best Wishes to All, it's on Shudder right now. It's fantastic. Ricky, you'll love it
Nice.
because
On
it's
the
straight
list.
weirdo shit. Yeah, it's so good.
Straight
All
weirdo
right.
shit.
No,
Oh,
like
yeah.
no, like it's like
Oh,
it,
yeah.
yeah, it's very ambiguously weird. It's a weird movie, but it's so good.
Nice.
It's so rare to see a female werewolf. I know we have ginger snaps, but they're almost always male. And honestly, like as a woman, we relate to werewolves the most.
I
We
was gonna
have
say,
a monthly transformation that happens that surrounds the moon where we bleed a lot and turn into a monster sometimes. And I've always empathized with werewolves for that reason because we have a very similar experience as a female. And there's the werewolves are almost always male. Almost always in the
Mhm.
movies, and so I'm stoked to see a female werewolf movie. Hell yeah!
I think that's why Ginger Snaps is so good,
good.
because it does it is an allegory for what you just described.
Yeah,
And I think that's why it works so well. So I agree with you.
And hey,
I
in
love
in
ginger
nature,
snaps.
across most species, the female is usually the more powerful and dominant one, right? That you want to look out for, right? You don't want to come across a mother bear in the woods. You don't want to come across like I think the Jaws movies, right? They all refer to it as the mother shark, right? Quite a bit. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. I'm going to reach out to some of my Fantasia contacts, see if we can get an early look at that as well. They've been a great partner of ours and my other company, Utopia, for a number of years. So thanks for putting that out there,
Yeah,
Chuck.
I love going to like in person. Like I love Fantastic Fest and I love like the places that I go, but like pound for pound content, hidden gems, Fantasia's pure. I don't know why they get them and how they get them, but it's pure gold every year. Like I get so excited for their lineup. And there's great like Ted Geoghegan and everybody that runs that over there, just all real great people. I love that fest. I'm gonna go next year, real bad.
Yeah. So bringing it full circle to some of the things you were saying, Ricky, I think what we love about horror is it's not the family friendly ride at the amusement park, right? It's the fastest roller coaster that's going to be super intense from the moment it starts. It's one where you're in line and you're wondering, okay, can I, am I ready for this thing, right? It's not really designed for everybody in the theme park. So I think we like to see the super visceral, scary, dark, over the top horror. So totally agree with that. What are some horror films that you feel like are underrated, and maybe throw out one that's overrated, whether it's a studio film or otherwise? What comes to mind when I ask that?
So underrated, I'm always going to go Saint Maud. I think that is
Love it.
it's just, for me personally, one of the best horror films made this last century. Wait, that's a decade. It's so fantastic. Rose Glass, who I'm just excited to see where she goes. I know that she brought out Love Lies Bleeding, which I also really loved as well. But yeah, Saint Maud, man, it's about this hospice nurse who goes through something traumatic at her old job, and she gets a new job looking after this woman who is in hospice care at home, and she believes that she can save her soul. That's all I'm going to say. But it is such a slow, methodical descent into pure religious paranoia. And I absolutely loved every set. I watched it at the theater. I came home, I found it online, and I know we're not meant to do that, but I just needed to see it again, and I watched it back to back, one after the other. And I've watched it countless times since then. So underrated. I think it's A24.
It is, yeah.
And I think that was my first. That was like the first time I really, really fell in love with an A24 film, to that extent. And overrated, I'm always going to say The Shining.
I love that.
Damn. All right.
I'm not saying it's bad.
It's
I think,
overrated.
like, going back to what we were saying about Eggers, objectively, it is a fantastically made film, right? I don't think it's as scary as people say it is. I think it isn't the same story I know from the book The Shining that I love. And I just think Dr. Sleep did a far better job at representing that story.
That's what I was curious of. I like
Yeah.
Doctor Sleep better as well.
Oh yeah. It's Doctor Sleep is so brutal as well.
Doctor Sleep
Yeah.
is epically brutal.
Yeah, man.
But that's when you let it's Flanagan, man. Like that's it. Enough
Yep.
said. Yeah. Like
Yep.
in a certain thing, like it could say Mike Flanagan Centipede. I'm going to see it. It doesn't matter what it is. Just like Robert, all I needed was Robert Eggers and a howl, and you can have my money. I'm going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Saint Maud is a tremendously it's a gut-wrenching tour de force of a watch, because an hour what's it like, it's probably like an hour and 28 minutes ish, maybe something like that, but out of that hour and 28, I'd say an hour and 10, maybe an hour and 12 of it is methodical slow burn to epic ending. I love that movie. I think it's fantastic.
I think it has one of the most horrifying endings.
Yeah.
I don't want to ruin it for anybody who hasn't seen it, but like, I'm not going to say anymore, actually. It's just...
Yeah, it's so good.
I think it gives me... I've got chills just thinking about it.
I love that. If I'm going to do underrated, I'm going to do 2026. I'm going to stay in this year, because I think the most underrated horror film of this year that not enough people are talking about, and it's not going to be number one on my list, but it could be. And I might boldly step there at some point in time because I love it. And I've watched it like 6 times now, and it's Mother Mary with Anne Hathaway, which I don't know.
Way.
I don't know if it's traditionally a horror movie, but the subject matter and everything that they deal with is horrific. I think Anne Hathaway is Oscar worthy in that film. I don't want to mess up her name, but here, hold on, let me look it up, because the other woman is also Oscar worthy. Have you seen it, Ricky?
No, I'm writing it on my list right now.
Dude, it's so fucking good. Her name is Michaela Cole. It's about this... David Lowery made it, the guy that made The Green Knight.
Oh,
do you like The Green Knight?
Oh, yeah, I've got...
okay, so you're gonna love it because it's weird. It's a weird ass movie.
Yeah.
But it's about this like pop star who's like at the very end of the career, like mounting this comeback, and can't get over like the hump of like being like back to, stardom of where Anne Hathaway was.
Right.
And then there's like this link to it that whenever she was at the height of her popularity, there was this woman that was like her set designer and like did her dresses and like her costuming and everything that she was. Well, it turns out that they had a relationship. But after their relationship dissolved, her whole entire life, all she ever thought about is that every moment she was with that woman was the greatest moment of her life, because it made her of her best self. So she has been grieving that relationship all these years. And then it becomes like this chamber piece where they're like literally the two of them in this room going through the emotions of what it is when you were the best version of yourself, and how you can never achieve that again through not having that person, which is like it's like a horrific adult coming of age movie. But like the way they twist it and the way he shoots it and the performances, like that movie it's phenomenal. Like it blew me away. I love it. That and Alpha, Julia Ducournau's Alpha is also, I think, brilliant and will make my top 10 as an underrated movie. And I will give you the disclaimer of apologies now, Ricky, but I'm always going to go for my most overrated movie is Hereditary.
I knew it was coming.
And once again, I don't hate it. I think it's a well-made film. I'm at, I'm at like a 3.5 out of 5, which is a very fair rating. It's more I feel like Ari Aster couldn't, and I know this works for most people that love it. They love the ending and they love where it went. That's what doesn't work for me, because I feel like he couldn't write himself out of the story that we were told prior to that, because she has all this Toni Collette in the family, and they go through all this generational trauma that is it's gut-wrenching and it's horrific, and everything that she goes through. You know what I mean? Like even like that shot through that dollhouse, and then it, the way that it comes through, like it's such an exemplary depiction of trauma. I felt the folklore aspect was a cop out. Like I almost feel better if she would have just went completely mad, murdered them all, and they would have rolled the credits. Would have been more suited to what they told us for an hour and a half. Versus it has to be this entity or this witch or this thing. But I always go back to it because it's the only movie that I'm jealous that I don't love it as much as other people love it. And like I've tried and tried and tried. So like I always go back to it with like an open mind and an open lens because it is a very well made film. But when you throw it to TikTok and to influencers and to people, that's where I say overhyped because people, it's the scariest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Well, I mean, it's debatable.
I don't particularly think it's scary. I don't remember being scared by it. I just think Toni Collette is fantastic.
She's incredible.
Toni Collette got robbed.
Yeah,
and Hereditary, and also The Ring.
For sure.
Or, sorry, not The Ring. Sixth Sense.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I think she got robbed of a nomination for both of those films. I think that she's an incredible scare actress, and it blows my mind that she's never even been nominated for it.
Yeah.
Like she should have won for Hereditary.
Oh, for sure. And that's it for me. It's not so much the supernatural stuff because a lot of that supernatural stuff didn't really land for me in the way that I want scary films to land for me. It's just the story, and I guess that I connect with the idea of generational trauma and the shit we inherit from our parents, and I guess you can watch this at different points in your life and take different things from it, and I think that's why I love it so much. And me and my wife watched it again recently, and we both at the end just sat back and was just like, it's just, for us at least, it's 10 out of 10. Like I can't find any faults with it for me.
I so respect it. Because especially because you have, people that will come on and how TikTok comments are and things like that. People will come on, they don't have an explanation of why they just love it because it's scary or it's this or it's that, But like I connected with the generational trauma from experiences I had in my own life. Okay, I'm sold. I respect that. It just, for some reason, it's such a Chuck movie. Like it's like a tailor-made Chuck movie. And for some reason, it just doesn't get me over the hump of like loving it. I don't know. I wish I did, but it is.
I'm a huge Hereditary fan, so like although I will say, Chuck, I agree with the ending, with what you said about the ending. I never really thought about it from that aspect of like if they had just done it sort of like a crazy cult, and she went nuts and killed everybody. I actually think that would have been a killer ending. Because at the end, it's like, oh, it's demonic possession. Okay, we get that. But up until then, you aren't really sure if what you're seeing, because you see her like crawling on the walls, right?
Yeah.
Like there's scenes where she's on the ceiling, and you're not really sure, like, is this really happening? Is this a hallucination? What's going on here?
Yeah.
Is she going into psychosis? You never really know with a horror, right? Until the very end. And then at the end, we get the confirmation, oh, this is, okay, it is a demon, right? So I kind of do agree. Like maybe it would have been better if it would have been like a psych thriller where she just goes nuts and like maybe kills everybody. That would have been pretty cool too.
I thought what she was going through was scarier than any image they could have put on the screen. You know what I mean? Like especially like being a father and going through like what your kids go through and feeling all that stuff. Like that was scary enough for me. You know what I mean? Like watching
when
her.
She comes down and finds the car with her kids.
Just being completely, her coming completely unraveled under the weight of like all that trauma.
That is the scariest. That I think whilst watching that film, that is the most scared I was. Is the scene directly after where she finds Charlie in the car and she's just fucked in the bedroom, just like crippled over by like agony and pain. And I've never seen a better portrayal of grief. And I know that it gets criticized sometimes because they feel like they oversold it. But like, I'm telling you, if any of my kids died, I'd be worse than that.
Oh, for sure.
I think Jessie Buckley in Hamnet.
I haven't seen it yet. No.
Oh, okay, that's the only one that I think could give Toni Collette a run for her money, and she actually did win the Oscar for it. So she the way she depicts grief in Hamnet is
Hamnet's devastating.
Is
Ricky, I cried like a fucking baby. And I had like no interest in watching that movie whatsoever. And outside of the horror genre, that's the best movie that I seen last year. I mean, it's fucking incredible. It's a flawless masterpiece.
It's It's really
Yeah,
good. She deserved that win.
And I went to the theater and watched it by myself and was in there crying like I mean, it's brutal, man. It's so good. It's a very, very tragic and harrowing movie. It's excellent.
The missus has been asking me to watch it for a while, and to be
It's
fair,
brutal.
It's
It's
your
brutal.
thing. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's a horror movie, like for real. Yeah.
yeah.
All
Just
right.
quickly before I forget, I was going to show you this. So I don't collect physical media unless I really, really like the film, and it's The Green Knight.
Oh, I love that.
It's such a nice thing.
That's straight from A24.
Yeah.
It's nice.
It's like an actual book with all like the costume designs and all that stuff in it. So good.
Their packaging's incredible. I have Midsummer, which I also don't like, and The Lighthouse. But they come in that long book with the extra booklet and all those shots. I mean, their packaging is fantastic.
The Zines, right? Is that what those are?
Yeah, it's like a media. It's like their version of the media book. Yeah, they make real nice. Because nobody they'll have that, and then you could go to Amazon or wherever and get like a copy of it, but it's never as nice as what comes from the studio.
Oh,
same.
Just like the paper in there, it's like proper thick quality paper. It's like premium.
And they charge you for it too, but I think it's worth it. Yeah, they're like $60 or something. Yeah, they're worth it.
Well, since we're sticking with the A24 theme, I'm going to share what I feel is a underrated movie of the last couple of years, and it's one, Ricky, I know you were really excited about a couple of years ago. I think I saw this in one of your reels. This film's called Opus, and it's John Malkovich, who plays a 30-year retired musician who's about to make a comeback, invites all these people to his estate. One of them is a journalist played by Ayo Edebiri, who's fantastic. At least I felt like she did a fantastic job in this role. But she quickly learns that it's essentially like a cult type setup, and there's all kinds of sinister things going on this property. So it really caught me by surprise. I didn't feel like it was terrifying in any way, but very interesting story, very interesting depiction. And you can clearly see, real life connections to people without them, naming names. So, but
Underrated, overrated. Okay, so I will say I did put down a little list of underrated movies, and I'm going to split the crowd with these ones, okay? Because these are like my favorite movies that I think are underrated. First and foremost is Ghost Ship. I love that movie. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care. I think it has one of the best opening sequences in a horror movie
For sure.
ever with The Wire. I'll never not watch it. It's just like one of those, I'll put it on to go to sleep. You know what I mean? It's like a comfort movie for me. Another one that I think is slightly underrated is Oculus. And I think not a lot of people saw it. It's about a haunted mirror.
Flanagan.
I thought it was awesome, and I don't know, I just think that it's insanely underrated. Also, I think Oddity was way better than it was received. I really like that one. I know we were talking about like kind of monster design, or you mentioned in the email monster design. I think that's a cool monster as well. So like that was like a very unique monster. And for overrated, I'm gonna have to go with Terrifier. I mean, I like Terrifier. I'm gonna watch them all. I think they're fun, but I think that it's just, it's a Gorno. It is what it is,
Yeah,
for Gorno. Sure. I like that. Gorno.
It's a Gorno. That's a great word.
Yeah. Like that.
So before I go back to my overrated film, has anybody seen Opus then? Chuck, have you seen it? No?
I've seen Opus.
All right. And
it's like a 3 out of 5 for me.
All right. Okay.
It's a very polarizing film, but I also don't think that because I love the bear. But I also think she's the weakest link as an actress on The Bear. So like I just am not like sold. You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't sell me like into the person. And that's not to say that she's not a great actress. Like it just doesn't necessarily work for me. But yeah, I thought it was like it's better than what people shit on that movie bad. You know what I mean? Like real bad. It got real, negative critical acclaim whenever it first came out. I don't think it's a bad movie.
Yeah.
But I think it's solid, medium solid.
The reason I was excited to see it was because of John Malkovich, and I love John Malkovich. One of my favorite films is Being John Malkovich. I think that's such a brilliant film. And just everything that he's in, even if he's playing something dumb, I like him. I just didn't get around to watching the film.
Well, the other one, which you've already kind of hit on a little bit, but now we can expand on the conversation. I felt like Undertone was overrated as well, just in terms of what it could have been and what it could have developed into. And I understand, the divisiveness in terms of the ending meaning, if it's a psychological thing, if it's an actual physical thing. But I just felt like they played too much with the whole podcast aspect of it and the audio play and kind of, playing these sounds and clips and oh my god, what's going on. But it's, the whole point of a movie, right, is show don't tell, right? And so it felt to me like somebody describing a creepy story as opposed to actually experiencing something creepy. So
I'm
that
fully on board with you, Cole.
that
I did
that
not care
Sure.
for Undertone at all.
I think though what you're saying is correct,
Mhm.
but I think it's a film for people who grew up listening to creepy story podcasts,
Mhm.
right? I'm one of them people.
Yeah.
So I think that I think what you're saying is correct. I think if you're not into listening to podcasts, or you haven't terrified yourself by listening to creepy content, then you might not find this that interesting. It also depends how you watch this film, I think. I
Mhm.
think that if you watch this film on a TV with a group of people, yeah, it is a bit weak, because I watched it like that the second time round and I was a bit like, okay. But then the first time I watched it with headphones in the dark,
Mhm.
scared the shit out of me. So,
The first,
I know it's not ideal to tell audiences that this is how you need to watch the film
It
for it
is.
to be scary,
but it is.
but that's how you should watch it, in my opinion.
The undertone suffered from. I think the undertone's fantastic, and shout out to Chad Archibald at Black Fawn Films, great guy, and happy for their success with it. The Undertone is one of those movies that suffered from the hype.
Mhm.
It got overhyped. People went into it with an expectation. When I seen Undertone, not a person in the world knew what the Undertone was. I was one of 21 people that got a screener from Fantasia Film Festival. Nobody
Mhm.
knew what the fuck it was. And as soon as 3 videos hit the internet, they pulled that bastard immediately from the lineup and didn't send it to anybody else. Cause like I literally
Yeah.
watched it at 1 o'clock in the morning in a pitch dark room with a pair of headphones, because I was watching festival screeners. That's how you watch
Mhm.
them. So I just had a synopsis. I had no idea. I had no A24 marketing. There was nothing. It was just podcaster, blah, blah, blah. That's it. I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch this movie. And I
Mhm.
thought it was terrifying. Like it really, really got to me. And then, I didn't go see it in the theater because I don't think it's meant for, like, I'm happy that it's there, and
Mhm.
I'm happy that it made money and that it got there and that they get to make more movies. But there's certain things that just aren't meant for that. And I just don't
Yeah.
think it was meant for that. It's not like an event, like it's not like fucking Evil Dead or Scream or something like that. It's a little nichey movie that you should have watched. I almost thought they should have just did a big, huge campaign pay-per-view for it or something like that, so everybody could like really experience it for what it was.
Mm.
And I think all your points are very fair, Cole, but a bit fair enough. Like you went into it after a lot of hype, correct?
Yeah, I mean, so for the record, I appreciated that film. I would have been ecstatic to have that film as Utopia, right? And by the time we reached out, it had already gone to A24.
I was going to say, didn't
But
A24 pick it up, didn't they?
yeah,
Yeah.
and in spite of its modest success, and I think it's great, for indie film in general. I just, to Chuck's first point, I just think the PR machine that was behind this thing, the scariest movie you'll ever hear, and all those things. It wasn't that scary. Like it had potential, to be scary, but to me, it was, a fine film about grief and the psychology, especially with the lead character who finds out that she's going through her own changes. I don't want to reveal too much
Right.
from the story, but there's definitely multiple angles and multiple interpretations that I certainly appreciate. It just didn't scare me the way that I wanted to be scared.
For sure.
So
The marketing was too much.
Mm.
Mhm.
I think that might have been it, because they were saying, "Oh, it's the scariest movie." And to me, like I didn't dislike the movie. I liked watching it. We enjoyed watching it. I just kind of felt like I got edged a little.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like it
No,
felt like an edging the whole
but it's
time, and then I
happened,
never really got there.
and it's
But do you
happened
think
in so many movies in recent memory. The undertone, Long Legs, anything Perkins has ever done. You know, I mean, anything, to be honest, if we're being real here, anything Neon touches, they're blowing that shit up with marketing, and it never lives up to the hype of it. Now, granted, I love Long Legs. I think it's fantastic. I could watch it every day. I think it's a great fucking movie. But if they would have did a quarter of the marketing instead of that full blast thing, I think we're dealing with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars of it spreading like Seven. There wasn't marketing for Seven when it came out. All crazy. This is the scariest movie ever made. You know what I mean? Like it would have, the word of mouth of Long Legs would have did enough, but that overselling, you know what I mean? It's just like every TikToker, you know, it's the scariest movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I just walked out of Evil Dead Burn, and it has the gnarliest scene I've ever seen ever in a movie. Like, okay, sure it does. Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it.
There is a tricky line to walk, though, because
it is.
Like, I don't talk about films I don't like. And this is what I feel like I have to drum into people's head, because the amount of comments I get every day is like, you say every film is the scariest film. I don't. I say, this is a scary film, or this film scared me, or or this is the scariest film I've seen this year so far. I don't just watch one scary film and then turn the TV off. Forever.
I love that.
But anyway, yeah. Rant over.
No, that's great, and that's a good lead in. Like, what characters or monsters or creatures would you say are some of the scariest in any time period, A24 or otherwise? Like for me, you know, I'll start like Pet Sematary. Zelda as a character scares the shit out of me.
Oh my god!
Right? Not just
she's
those
based
scenes,
on a real story, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, it's just terrifying.
A real story from France.
I'm more scared by themes, tones, and meanings than I am by creatures or characters. Like I think there's way scarier movies out there that deal with subject matter and tones that's the stuff that gets me. Like anything that could put me in a position of like, this could really happen, or I could go through. It's like, that's the stuff that like hits my carnal sensories for like being scared. You know, granted, a jump scare, you know, if you want to Exorcist 3, you know what I mean? That's fucking scary because it's so well done. You know what I mean? Like, that scared me. But that scared me versus is it scary is two completely different things, because I don't think The Exorcist 3 as a whole is scary. It just contains the scariest jump scare ever, in my opinion. Like, that's a bold statement, but it's more like, and I love Zelda, you know what I mean? But like, is Pet Sematary scary? No, it's not scary. But that character is scary. You know what I mean? Like, but that's the best thing about what we do. You know what I mean? We have 4 people on the screen from 4 different walks of life that have different perceptions and interpretation of what fear and scary is. I'm starting a series. I'm dropping it right after we get off of here, Ricky. You're going to laugh at this. So my new series for July is This Movie is Scary, quotations to me. That's what I'm putting like as my banner on the thing. And every day I'm going to drop a movie that I think is scary to me, because I know everybody's going to comment and tell me that it's not scary. Like, it's like fully on purpose. I'm starting with The Possession of Michael King.
Oh, nice.
Which is scary.
I don't actually think I've seen that. In fact, people scream at me to watch that film, and I still haven't watched it. Dude, it's so good,
Ricky.
Is it?
So good. Yep. It's so good. I think it blows Emily Rose and I think it's better than all of them. Yeah, it's so the Hannah Grace, Emily Rose is a great movie. I love it. Possession of Michael King.
The scene where she's on the floor, like backwards, you know, there's a boy sleeping in the bed and she's on the floor. That scene in the theater, unmatched. The whole theater lost their shit, because I went to see it opening night when it came out, and the whole theater lost their shit. It was awesome. Good.
Haunting in Connecticut, which I think is a scary movie, and people hate it. Well. People hate that fucking movie.
The one with the eyelids? I like that.
I think it's so good. Yeah.
But I agree with Chuck. Like, I vibe way more, or I get scared way more by theme than I do overtly like boo. But I do have 2.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about it earlier. Firstly, I'm going to rep the film again. Whatever the fuck that entity... Sorry, I keep swearing. I do apologize.
No,
whatever the entity is in Skinamarink is the scariest entity put to film since The Exorcist, in my opinion, obviously. I don't know what it is, and I think that's the point. I think that it completely plays with what you expect a ghost or an entity to do in horror. But most importantly, it makes you afraid of one of the most fundamental things that should scare you in horror, and that is the dark. And that is what's around that next corner. That entity is terrifying. The voice is terrifying. Sat on the bed is terrifying. And another one is King Stranger from The Cell.
Dude, The
Oh,
Cell's so
from The
good.
Cell.
Yeah.
I will say The Cell has scary moments, like genuinely scary.
That King Stranger terrified me the first time I saw the film. It is the purest representation of a completely corrupt mind, and that is terrifying to me.
I think The Cell is one of the most criminally misunderstood movies ever made.
Yeah. And
I
just
could
think
not
'cause-
agree more. It's one of my favorite movies, and people just
Oh, yeah.
do not talk about it
People
enough.
knock it because of J-Lo. That's why people knock it. They knock
Yeah.
it because
Yeah.
she's in it. And they probably half the people that don't like it didn't even see it. And listen, and D'Onofrio, Oscar worthy, but he
Oh,
isn't.
absolutely.
He is in everything that he's ever been in.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Agree.
good.
Fully agree.
I'm
All right,
so excited because I'm going away for my birthday, and I just want to let you know. So I'm going to Chicago for my birthday on the 10th of July, and I'm going to Movie Fest, which I had no idea was in Chicago. And I'm going to a screening of Teenage Sex and Death at Camp Miasma, which I'm so stoked to go see. It's one of my most anticipated. And I'm going to the Scratch and Sniff screening of The Substance. And then I'm going to the Monday night, the last Monday I'm there, I'm going to see a 40th anniversary remastered 35 millimeter print of The Fly, which I
cool.
fucking can't wait to see
Yes,
on the big
mate.
screen. Yeah, I'm stoked.
Nice.
But
All right.
let me track back a bit. A scratch and sniff screening of The Substance, is that exactly what it sounds like?
It's exactly what it is. They have seats, and then when you're in the seats, they give you like these booklets, like it's like a big booklet that they have that has all these cards and everything in it. So from the quaid shrimp to every single piece of the thing, they're bringing it to life like through smells.
But it's not like the Wonka wall where like multiple people are going up and like sniffing it.
No. It's like your own little personal thing in your seat.
'Cause
Yeah, I would
that would
lick
be
the
gross.
wall. Yeah, it would be
Like
gross.
Snozzberries taste like snozzberries
Yeah, that's
type
right.
thing.
Pre-COVID, I would have been okay with it. Post-COVID,
Yeah, no, that's
absolutely not.
totally fair. I just thought it was something like, because I had no idea that like this thing even existed or this fest or anything. I kind of like stumbled into it. So I thought it was like a good way to spend like birthday weekend.
That's
Because
so
I love
cool.
The Substance. It's so good.
Nice. All right, so Jordan, take us back to what scares you in these films. Is it creatures? Is it characters? Do you have one that comes to mind?
You know, I was thinking about like the most scared I've ever been watching movies, right? And I watched so many movies, and I was trying to think of whether it's the character itself, but I think I agree with Chuck that it's not necessarily the monster or the character, it's how you feel. It's the sounds, it's the atmosphere of the movie, it's where you're at when you're watching it. All of these factors I think matter. So for me, something like The Grudge terrified me when I first saw it. Like absolutely horrifying movie, right? And things, you know, like the jump scare in The Descent. I was just talking about that in one of the videos this week. Like that scared everybody in the whole theater. It got everyone. But again, you're kind of relying on jump scares for things like that. So while I do think that tones and jump scares are like sort of the main things that will get me, I think I do have an appreciation for monsters. So I made, like, I wrote some movies down that I thought, like, I have an appreciation for the monster design because you hadn't really seen anything. And I did mention Oddity earlier. But also, I will say, and this one's probably going to split the crowd, Splice.
I love
Splice was one of the movies that people hated that I loved. I was like, I couldn't believe they went there, right? And so we kind of get this weird little monster that grows into this thing, right? And I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen Splice, but if you haven't seen Splice,
It's like a
be
sci-fi
aware.
Viagra commercial.
It's wild, right? Yeah, it's wild.
I love it.
So that one I appreciated the monster design in that one, and then I will also say the monster. I mean, you guys know I love Pumpkinhead. I think stuff like that type of monster design is so like it's like that's insane. The guy had to wear stilts. It was all practical. Like I love that kind of thing. While I'm not afraid of Pumpkinhead, I love that movie because of the monster, right? So then, you know, I don't know, even High Society at the end, like whatever the fuck that was. You kind of got to appreciate the monster design in that instance, I guess, things like that. But in reality, I would say I'm more afraid of like the terror than the horror. Like I'm more afraid of what we don't see. For instance, at the end of the Blair Witch, that's terrifying, horrifying, but
I'd
you'd
rather
never
not
really
see it.
see anything, you know? And I
Right.
think that's what really gets me, or the things, or the unseen, you know, the things that you in your imagination, because your imagination is going to think of the most horrific thing you can think of. So if you don't see it, then you're afraid of what you haven't seen because you haven't been shown something that you're meant to be afraid of. So
For
I think
sure.
those are the things that really scare me. There's never really like a monster where I'm like, oh god, that's terrifying. Although I agree with Ricky, The Cell was
It's so
brutal,
good.
and it's not necessarily like, if you take Vincent D'Onofrio out of it, he's not scary in the costume. It's in that moment, in that movie, like what he means as that character that makes him terrifying.
I think what
Horrifying.
you're saying is interesting as well when you relate, because you love reading as well. You're massively into reading, as am I, and I think that's why I love reading horror novels so much, is because my imagination is filling all of that in. And I think that if you can and I think that most of the scariest horror films, or the films that I find the scariest, are the ones that don't overtly show you the thing that is trying to scare you. It's things where you get little glimpses of it, and we are just imagining the absolute worst. Our imagination can make up way worse images than what anyone could ever put on screen.
Yeah. And
Absolutely.
And that's why, some movies like Babadook, I think, worked really well, was like they didn't overdo the demonic, creature character that much, right? It's like there's a thing in the dark, you hear it, you see, interaction with this thing, but it's kind of up to your imagination of what's in there, right? And
She's
then you've got
scarier than the Babadook in
the
that film, isn't she?
depictions.
For
What's
sure.
that?
She's scarier than the Babadook
Mhm.
in that film.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The whole situation is to like you're afraid of the child, right? He's like
That
autistic.
annoying ass kid's
So-
scarier than the Babadook. Pumpkinhead walks so movies like Hereditary could run, and I will die on that hill. That
I
Pumpkinhead.
love Pumpkinhead.
Pumpkinhead
I'll
is
bring him up.
Hereditary.
He's one of my favorites.
It's one of the best depictions of grief and trauma ever put on screen. Like, and I'll die on that hill like if that movie, if you made Pumpkinhead now and nobody knew what Pumpkinhead was, that movie would crush. It would crush.
Hmm.
God,
I hope they never touch it. Honestly, I love the original.
I do too. But I would spend. I would. It depends on who made it, but I would be all in for it. I would love to see it. Practical Pumpkinhead.
All right. So I'm also going to shout out one that you were bashing earlier, Jordan. So Minions, which is, I think, Minions
here
and
we go.
Monsters, is kind of a cute film with the family, not scary at all, but has some very interesting monster designs, and also literally tells you during the movie that it is a cash grab. But we'll save the storyline for everybody that's going to go see it with the fam. But is there anything else coming out here very soon that you're excited to see, aside from the ones we've talked about in prior episodes?
Evil Dead Burn
Mm-hmm.
comes out this week. Well, next
Evil Dead
week.
Burn. I want to
Yeah.
see Leviticus. I haven't seen it yet.
It's
Yeah, I
fantastic.
still haven't seen Leviticus either.
Ricky, you're gonna love. You're both gonna
Mm.
love Leviticus is tremendous.
Yeah, it's high on my list.
Yeah, it's
Alright.
tremendous. It's so
But
good.
I think, Burn. But again, until the day Flanagan's Exorcist comes out, I don't think I'm anticipating anything else as hard as that.
Werewolf.
I'm just so curious.
Werewolf.
Yeah, Werewolf for sure. But like, you know
Mhm.
me and the
Dude,
Exorcist. and
Flanagan, did you understand like the amount of pressure? And I know Mike Flanagan doesn't have the pressure, like he doesn't feel it. Like I don't think he feels it. But like there's this is just my opinion. There's so much riding on that Exorcist movie.
yeah.
Like I mean, I almost think I feel like it's like, will I always watch Mike Flanagan movies for the rest of my life? Yes. But do I think that like it I don't want to say his career hinges on it, because I don't think that it does. But I think if it's not good, it's an epic step back for the run that he's on. But like,
Sure.
I
Well,
don't
I've been
doubt
saying for
Flanagan.
ages, like,
Dude, it's
imagine.
gonna be good, man.
Yeah, for sure. But I've been saying for ages, imagine if it's his first flop. Imagine if he takes that on.
It
and
might
it's his first
be.
flop.
I mean, it might be. I mean, he has other movies that aren't like the greatest. You know what I mean? Like they're
Sure.
like even like Oculus has problems. You know what I mean? But it's still really good. But if we get Dr. Sleep Flanagan on the set of The Exorcist, watch the fuck out. Because he already made something better than a classic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm looking forward to that I haven't even seen confirmation yet? I keep seeing rumors, but I've yet to see confirmation. Maybe you guys can help me out. 13 Ghosts. I heard that we're getting like a series.
Yeah.
It's a
It's a
show.
show.
A 13 episode series.
Are they
It's
doing
a show.
that?
Yeah, it's in the late stages. From what I've been told, it's in the late stages of the development process.
Okay,
No,
'cause there's been rumors about that for years, and the 13 Ghosts is one of my most underrated. I think it gets
I love 13
hated on.
Ghosts.
I
Yeah.
love that
Oh,
movie.
yeah,
I
so
think
good.
that those monster designs, I will say, like the jackal, scared the shit out of me in theaters. So stuff like that, like I would love to see the backgrounds to those characters. And I almost never want to see a prequel, but I'm so down to see the backstories of those characters from that movie. So I hope that they do make that.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Yeah, and shout out to Hocus Pocus 3 in development as well. So that'll be fun once that comes out.
No way.
But,
Good for them.
Yeah. So with that, I think we'll go ahead and wrap today's conversation. Want to thank the listeners for joining us. As always, like and subscribe and comment. Tell us what you want us to discuss, because we want to talk everything horror and make some recommendations of some scary movies and shows to check out. So thank you again, and we'll talk soon.